What you see behind me is the Rhine, because I'm in Cologne on the Rhine and there's a world-famous car manufacturer is located, namely Ford, so welcome to the presentation of the new Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. The GT stands for Gran Turismo and expresses pure sportiness. The car already looks really good at the front. Really beefy. Typical Mustang, you have to say. There are these two humps on the bonnet. Then there's a radiator grille. But it's not cooling. It's also closed. It just looks like one. They've built in a bit of a honeycomb pattern here. Typical for the Mustang is the jumping horse, the jumping Mustang. This car needs cooling air too. Let's have a look down there. There are flaps here that you can open or close. Because an electric motor and especially the battery naturally get a bit warmer. You have to cool it down, and then you open the flaps and you can regulate it well. A look under the bonnet makes it clear, you won't find a big V8 engine here. Here there is additional storage space. There are 100 liters available here. With many electric cars, that's maybe 50, 60 or 80 liters. Here there is a little more. For aerodynamic reasons, there are no door handles here. Here there is a small button and a very small door handle. I press this and the door opens. Then I can open the door, that works really good. Here there is a possibility to enter a combination of numbers and then the door can be opened. At the rear door the same system. I press the button and the door opens. Unfortunately there is no door handle. You reach in here to open the door. But it works really well. Of course, it has to be said that this 3-part tail light system is typical of a Mustang, and it really shouldn't be missing. Another nice touch is the reference to the Gran Turismo, the GT, with this symbol, and there is also a reference to the all-wheel drive. Here is where you start the engine and here is where the remaining range is displayed, which is important for planning your journey. Then I'll gallop off with the US Wild Horse. I'm curious. A word about this performance. I am always amazed at how these electric motors push. Here you have an output of 386 horsepower and a torque of 860 Newton meters. That means the car can sprint from 0 to 100 in 3.7 seconds. That is extremely sporty. It is also allowed to drive not just 180 but 200 kilometers per hour at top speed. That's a bonus on top. Locked, of course, otherwise the system might get too warm. This car is equipped with a 98.7 kilowatt-hour battery, gross. The net capacity is 88 kilowatt-hours, which, measured according to WLTP, gives the car a range of 500 kilometers. I think, depending on how often you go full throttle here, that will be a little less. If you need to recharge, you can do that. At a station with 150 kilowatts, it takes about 10 minutes to recharge for 99 kilometers. If you want or need to recharge from 10 to 80%, it will take 45 minutes. If you switch on the digital sound, you hear a V8-like roar from the 10 Bang & Olufsen speakers. The two equally powerful permanent magnet synchronous motors are a real joy. I have to make one thing clear, for me, all-wheel drive is always an option. It simply gives you a bit more traction. In this car, the calibration of the drivetrain is regulated in such a way that a little more torque is sent to the rear axle, so the car can be driven with a lot of emphasis on the rear. I personally really like it. There are 20-inch rims and the tires are something special. A development by Pirelli, for this car, in a size of 245/40/20. You always have plenty of grip. A word about the handling of this Mustang Mach-E GT. In my opinion, sporty cars are always very light. Preferably under 1,000 kilograms. This car weighs around 2,300 kilograms, which is quite a lot. Nevertheless, it has sporty genes. It can be driven in a sporty manner, it is very easy to handle, very confident. There are no uncertainties. It has all the driver assistance systems. There is also good feedback to the driver about the grip level of the front axle via the steering. Another positive feature for me is the all-wheel drive. It's a bit rear-focused. When you step on the gas, the car comes a bit with the rear. But it's very confident and is also controlled by the driver assistance systems. These are important for the 816 Nm of torque, which can increase to 860 Nm when you boost, when you apply full throttle. That's more than the Ford GT. It's an eye-catcher, no question. Ford's designers have succeeded. Short overhangs, 20-inch wheels and the striking front in combination with the beefy rear make an impact on the view. The interior also has a sporty look, dominated by the large screen that goes very far down. These sports seats offer real support and good comfort. The charging network is now well developed in Europe. Nothing stands in the way of a holiday trip with an electrically powered car. What you need is a bit of boot space. When the backrests are folded down, there is up to 1,420 liters of boot space. That's enough for 2 or 3 weeks holiday. There is a small flap that can be lifted. That's where you'll find the cable, for example. It's already on top here from the last loading. So I think that's enough. A word about the interior. I feel quite comfortable here. The whole thing looks very classy and sporty. I have a virtual speedometer in front of me. Everything important is displayed there, the speed, the remaining range, very important. When it turns blue, I see that I'm using electricity, and when I step on the brakes or let off the gas, it turns green. Then I can see that I can recuperate a little electricity. The dominant feature on the right-hand side is the 15.5-inch monitor. I can actually operate everything here, and if I go to Apple CarPlay, for example, the whole thing is switched over immediately. If I go to this car symbol, I can also select these driving menus, for example. This is called drive mode. There are then tame, active or spirited. The latter setting here, that would always be my setting. This Mustang Mach-E is a real jumper and for me almost an all-rounder. Definitely an electric fun car on par with a combustion engine. The fuel consumption of around 65 kilometers is impressive. I used 19 kilowatts, a good result. Yes, my test drive with the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT is over and I have to say, it's a nice car. It has a very special design and it really stands out in the crowd of SUVs and crossovers. The car has plenty of power, is sporty to drive and is a lot of fun to drive. It is supposed to cost 76,900 euros in the basic version. That's it from me.